Good morning, Suzuki Science, grade 10s. It's Tuesday. You've had a long weekend, and hopefully you spent at least one of those days doing something completely removed from the computer, the device, and maybe even got a chance to go outside and enjoy Saturday's weather. Sunday's morning was pretty nice, I believe. And if you didn't, then make sure if the days warm up that you get outside and get some fresh air this week. I'm going to keep my conversation with you very short because this week, first of all, you have only 4 days, but there is the same amount of learning that we'd have in any other week. So I want to make sure you're focusing on the learning and not us having this conversation. I have on the screen currently what your week looks like. So this is a layout. You'll notice the part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So there's 4 parts to this. In the first part, now this is the minimum. Remember, this is always the minimum time. In the minimum time, this is set to be around 3 hours. However, the minimum time is going to have gaps. You can't get through our content in 3 hours. It just won't happen. Also, you get to decide how much time you want to spend because there is a lot of math, and as you know, the practice is what's going to allow you to be more successful. So the more you practice, likely the more comfortable you are with the content. So 3 hours is the minimum. That's this timeline that you'll see here. But you'll also notice that there's plenty of opportunity to go above that. So in part 1, first of all, your learning goals are listed on this worksheet of what we expect you to learn by the end of this week. Last week was reflection. The week before was wave equation. This week is refraction. Next week is the task that we'll return to. Okay, so you've already been introduced to the task when you did the cells, medical, optical technology. The second part, you've seen it's not going to be exactly the same, but it'll be similar. Okay. Anyway, so this one, part 1 is called play. So notice the green versus the yellow versus the purple. I didn't give a legend this time, but green is the minimum. So if you just want to complete the minimum, this means that if you went into the course, into the March break, and you were failing this course, if you complete the minimum, then you may receive the credit. If you are at a level 1 or level 2 and you want to see your mark go up, it's possible that completing the minimum might bring a level 1 up slightly. If you complete the yellow complete, then anyone below a level 3 will see their mark, if they do the things accurately, likely go up. If you are already a level 4, then you need to complete the yellow well and even attack some of the purple. Okay, so that's kind of the not met exemplary marking scheme. I review that each week. So part 1 play, notice a lot of times with the green, I just have you playing with whatever it happens to be. So you might not necessarily write anything down, or if you do, it's kind of, very minimal. But if you want to demonstrate you actually understand what's going on, you'll typically go to the yellow or purple. So in the first one, you're going to get a clear glass. You're going to fill it with water halfway, and you're going to put a pencil or a spoon or a fork, and you're going to observe. So if I were to take this glass here that's half filled with water, and I put a straw inside of it, what is it that you observe? I want you to take a look at that and then write down your observations of what you see. Okay. Now, as you look at this, you'll see there's a lot of resources. One of the places I send you to is the physics classroom, right? So the physics classroom I mentioned before is a great resource. It's like an online textbook with links and little animations and a really good explanation, and even an explanation of that broken pencil. I use the straw. You'll also see links to PhET simulation. So with PhET simulation, you're going to follow the instructions. This is one of the initial activities. So you click on the intro and you start playing with this laser, and you click on this button and you're going to move it around. This is air up here. This is water down here. This is the light or laser beam. And you'll notice as you shine it from air and it hits the water surface, you sometimes get reflection, and you sometimes get this interesting concept here. So I want you to play with that. And when the light goes from one medium, air, to another medium, water, you get this phenomenon known as refraction. You can grab a protractor and drop it, and that you can use that protractor to measure the angles. Okay, you can change the mediums so that the first medium is water, so water to water, let's say, or from water to air. So this allows me to get a feel for how to refract and reflect light. So you're going to play with this particular simulation. Okay, so that's a part of this activity. You'll see very explicit instructions. Some of them are green. Typically the green is just experimenting. The yellow, you're typically writing things down. And the purple is a little bit more advanced. Okay, so this whole part 1 is using that PhET simulation. Right, so there's an intro part, there's a prisms part, and there's a more tools part. And notice the more tools is purple. I think I had it purple somewhere. The next part, part 2, video shedding light on refraction. So we don't get to do this in class with you. So you're going to have to watch this video. This is a long video. This is the longest video that we've ever set you to. Look at that, 55 minutes. My suggestion, I know you're gonna see that number like, I'm not doing that, and you're gonna walk off somewhere. If you want to learn the concept, then you're gonna have to watch the video. A lot of these things we would do as a class, but we don't have the material. We don't have the semicircular dishes. We don't have the liquids. We don't have the laser beams. You don't have them at home. So you can watch this video and get a good understanding of the concept. So I suggest breaking it into chunks. You know, watch 10 minutes here or 15 minutes. I say 15 minutes. Watch 15 minutes, walk off, talk to your friends. You have someone on the screen with you, talk with each other, see if you're getting the right answers. So that video is going to take a while to get through, but that is the major part of the lesson in that video. Okay? So when you're answering the questions, you might want to look at the questions first. So these questions are based on that video. Notice that most of them are green until you get to 6. At question number 7, it's yellow. So one of them is going from air to water, and the other one's going from water to air, basically. So you can also use that PhET simulation in order to determine these answers as well. One purple with the fish. Okay, so you just work your way through that, and that's part 2. I've given the Learn 360 resources as always. It's in purple, so you're going to complete that only if you find that it is something you need more practice. Snell's law. So this is the problem. Each week we have problems. First week was wave equation. Second week was we focused on reflection, and you saw the 1 over F equals 1 over dO plus 1 over dI. We also saw hi-ho HI divided by HO equals negative DI over negative DO, which equals M, magnification. So you're going to see that equation again, the 1 over F equation. So you get to play with it, but instead of using it with mirrors, you're now going to use it with lenses, and you're going to be exploring the idea of refraction. So refraction uses lenses, and reflection uses mirrors, and you're going to learn reflection can also use lenses. So there's a lot of calculations. So Ms. Dave has created some videos. You'll notice this one is in green, and this one's in yellow. The green is the minimum. Watch that, understand the concept. Yellow is more practice. This one I didn't highlight. I didn't highlight it because if you took grade 10, then you've seen trigonometry and sine before. If you haven't taken grade 10 math, you have not seen this. In order to solve some of these equations, you need to understand how to find sine theta, or the inverse of sine theta. If that language is completely foreign to you, then Ms. Dave has created a lesson here, an excellent lesson, for you to learn that concept. She's going to explain the triangle and a number of things that we won't talk about in physics, but you'll build up an understanding to get there. So you'll notice I put complete the problems on the next page in different colors. So there's practice problems. These are from the textbook, which you have access to with the answers. And then part 4, the thin lens equation, the optics equation, the mirror equation. There's so many names for this. This is the same thing we saw last week, and now you get to apply it to lenses as opposed to mirrors. We give you the convention of what the plus, a positive F and a negative F, a positive D and a negative D, and so on mean. So you can look at that. And then here are your questions. 2 green, 3 yellow, 1 purple. Finally, at the very end here, I send you back to the PhET simulation. So you get to go back to the PhET simulation, you open up the full bending light, and you work your way through it, and you're going to apply Snell's law. And Snell's law is given to you right here. You'll see it in the problem solving as well. You'll see it in Ms. Dave's examples, and hopefully get an understanding. So between myself, Mr. Martins, and Ms. Dave, we're going to have 3 live lessons this week to go through the problems. I encourage you strongly, if you want to understand this, come to the live lessons and ask the questions. I noticed that when I looked at the last live grid, flip grid here, that only 11 of you out of 25 posted your responses, and that was reflection, which is easier than refraction. It's actually practice for refraction. So it's very concerning to me that many of you chose not to try these questions. All right, so I'll go over these answers. I will make them freely available so you can see what the answers look like the next day, and keep on working and asking questions. All right, so start with the video lesson, the worksheet, follow the links on this worksheet, and any questions whatsoever, even if you want to meet one-on-one, 1-on-2, 4, 5, 10, let me know and we'll do that.